Okay, they've done it again. There was a tropical storm right here last night, or yesterday, August 23rd, and overnight, during the 23rd, 24th nighttime, they have downbursted it, and it's gone now. This is a phantom on the satellite image. These curls do not exist. And if you look at part 1, I show this HAARP transmitter here off of Baja burning a hole in the clouds pointed at this direction here. So this is the visible image map, and this is all false. These clouds are the true remnants of that tropical storm. And in fact, we can step through the daybreak on the Pacific coast, and we see a nice three-dimensional image here. Nice three-dimensional look to those clouds. And step one more time, another 30 minutes. And this all looks very three-dimensional here. But this stuff down here, notice it's flat, it's gray, and it remains flat and gray as the sun is rising. These clouds look very three-dimensional. Okay? All these curls down here are photoshopped in. Let me show you and prove this. Here is the early morning water vapor image. And you'll see that there's nothing resembling a tropical storm there anymore. And if you look at part 1 of this video, you could clearly see that it was still circulating counterclockwise, and it had broken into 3 separate lobes, and the lobe closest to the HAARP transmitter was getting a HAARP downburst at the end of part 1 video. So we can see now that these outer rain bands are trying to bring some rain into California. That's why they killed this, to keep the California drought going. And here's an image about 3 hours later. So you can see it's even more spread out, more disorganized. It has just really been pressed down with an artificial man-made high pressure coming from this HAARP transmitter right here. Let me show you the water temperature map. Okay, so people are going to say, well, it moved over cold water and it fell apart. Well, no, because it was right here, and it moved about to here, and then suddenly fell apart. So notice, this is all a homogeneous temperature right here. It's not like there's a pocket of cold water when it moved from here to here. So the red here is like above 80, and this is something like upper 70s. That's plenty enough for this storm to keep going. Another thing that happens in this kind of a situation is they put so much energy into this HAARP downburst that sometimes that energy gets reflected back and shows up as a radar anomaly. And that's what happened in Los Angeles this morning. You can see right here. Okay, this is the wrong map. This is an updated map. Oh man. Well, I apologize for that. I didn't know these maps could auto-update. Oh, there it is. Here it is. Okay, this spike here in the radar is actually pointing out to this hurricane. So this is circumstantial, but it's just more evidence. And why is the NexRad picking up a anomalous reflection there? This is very common when they're doing a HAARP downburst. This is seen in Texas a lot. Usually it's pointed right at the transmitter, but in this case it's actually pointed to the target. Pretty unusual. So another thing people are going to say is, well, if you look at the visible mode doesn't look the same as water vapor mode. Okay, here's a shortwave infrared, and we can still see they're painting this ghost image on there, just like Hurricane Iselle a week ago out north of Hawaii. So they're still painting this ghost image on the infrared. There's shortwave infrared, here's longwave infrared. That's a ghost image right here, the circular part. So now the critics are going to say, well, this hurricane looks different in visible light than it does in water vapor mode. Okay, now these two maps were actually taken at the same time, and we see visible Visible, it's definitely a tropical storm. Look at that. Even a 5-year-old can say, "Ooh, that's a hurricane." But if we look at the water vapor map, it doesn't look the same. So, visible, here's another little test sample we can do. This little guy here, let me zoom in on that. And we're going to compare the same time maps in visible light and in water vapor mode. Okay, so that's kind of peculiar, but that's how it looks in visible light. Because this is not the object of a HAARP downburst, so they don't need to Photoshop this right now. So if we look at the water vapor map for the same time period, and I'll stop it, and back up, there we go. So now we're going to compare the visible appearance of this non-psyop storm with, okay, there's the visible, there's the water vapor. Might zoom one more time. Step forward. Okay, too far. In other words, they look extremely similar. They look extremely similar. Visible, visible, water vapor. Visible, water vapor. And let's see, I have a later water vapor map. Just for grins, let's see how it developed. Okay, right about there. Well, they're just remarkably similar. Okay, so this was just a verification that what you see as far as tropical depressions, tropical storms, in visible mode, you're also going to see in water vapor mode. Okay, they are just remarkably similar. In fact, if I step one more time frame ahead, oops, sorry, wrong one. So many windows. There, go back. Zoom a little more. Holy cow, they're the same. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Okay, so visible, water vapor. They're just dang near the same thing. Maybe one more step like that. Oh yeah, look, they're identical. This one's gotten too big, so I'll make this one bigger. Okay, so the point is, the water vapor map is a true representation of what the visible map should be showing. But if we look up here, this is what they're showing in water vapor, and this is what they're showing in visible. They're different. Oh crap. Okay, anyway, and the sea surface temperature does not account for how this thing magically blew apart over the nighttime hours of August 23rd to 24th. So anyway, my point is, they have just done another Hurricane Iselle. If we look at the surface, this is the sea level pressure map, and down here you can see the computer is still marking that there is a surface low, but the clouds have gotten smeared out and moved to a different spot. If we look at the jet stream, this is very curious because, okay, here's the phantom. This is a phantom. This is the phantom hurricane in probably shortwave infrared. And here are the actual cloud remnants. And this is very peculiar. Here in the jet stream, this is a line of equal pressure and isobar. And we have a right-angled jog, a discontinuity in this isobar. That's extremely odd. This is the computer saying something weird just happened and I can't account for it. We have this pressure line here, which I know is correct. This pressure line here, which we know is correct. And somehow they've got a join, and the computer has drawn a discontinuity here. This is a confirmation of something happening that's not inside the computer model. Okay, folks, you in California have just gotten your rain stolen from you again. So unless you want to live in the Sahara, actually die in the Sahara, you need to get involved in this to get this stopped. Because that rain should have fallen down here. And heck, maybe even just taken a lazy route through the U.S., you know, wherever the jet stream was going to take it. Those low pressures will bring a lot of rain. but they have killed it. So we've just got to get involved in this to stop it, because this is entirely man-made. Okay, I hope that was helpful to people. Thanks.